Joining me right now here on the Mark Moses Show podcast is a very busy man, the head football coach of the Melbourne Bulldogs here in Brevard County, who are 4-1 to start the season. They just beat one of their big rivals in Palm Bay last Friday. They got a huge game this Friday night at home against Osceola. Yes, he is head coach Jeff Panucci. Coach, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good. How you doing, Mark?
Hey, I am doing just fine. Dude, I told you right before we came on, you guys are putting up some points here. Points, scoring. How excited are you? We'll start here. You beat Palm Bay. How big of a win was that?
I mean, everybody that's a Bulldog, anybody that knows, it's big. It's big. It means a lot to all of us that's ever been part of the rivalry. I mean, they obviously have dominated the rivalry. Anybody that knows about it for a really long time. We've won 5 out of 6. So, it's nice to, have the tables be turned a little bit and be in our favor in the moment. So it's always a sweet win no matter what.
Yeah, 59-14. It feels like you scored 700 points before that. What has been the key to success on offense? We'll start there.
I mean, our offense starts up front. Our offensive line is incredible. They're a great group of kids. They're a great group of football players. It starts up there between Dean Baker, Cam Woolworth, Eli Laporta, Carter Black, and Josh Phil-Ames. They're they're a great group. They've been playing together for almost 3 years now. Starts up there, and then we have running backs galore, receivers galore. CJ Hall's been playing out of his mind as a sophomore. I think I was told he's only the second quarterback in the history of Mel High, which that's 100 years of history to throw for 300 yards in a game. I mean, granted, we did run the wing T for a long period of time. EJ Hall, his brother, Jeremiah Thomas, Tyfield, James Noemeyer, this freshman that we have, don't forget Mikey Rogers, another weapon. This freshman we got named Tyrese Jefferson that goes along with Kamarion Johnson. Tyrese Jefferson has been unbelievable. I think he's broken every freshman record there is. I think he's already got like 11 touchdowns, maybe more. I've lost track. It starts up front with them, and they're executing. I mean, we're beating people we should beat, but they're doing the job and they're doing it the right way. So
4-1. Okay, you're staying positive, but I want to ask the game against Merritt Island, and Merritt Island's a great team.
Yeah.
What did you take out of that game? You only lost.
Merritt Island is a good football team, not taking anything away from them. We came out, we had a 14-0 lead, and we were doing what we wanted to do offensively. We were getting stops defensively. I'm not saying they didn't beat us, but we turned the ball over 3 straight times, and we didn't respond to adversity the way I had hoped. You felt the momentum just get taken out of the building, and that happens at that stadium, man. And they took advantage of every opportunity we gave them. And, right before half, we had a chance to go up 21-0. We failed to do that. Then we gave up a touchdown, so it's 14-7, and then the Avalanche came after that. And, I know it's a cliche, but it's one of those losses that you needed. You needed to learn from it. We hadn't lost yet. We had scored points at will. We hadn't faced adversity. And I watched a team that, I've been a part of, for years now. I watched a team grow up because it was bad. There was nothing that could go right. Every time we had an opportunity, something would go wrong. And I watched kids pick each other up because we're a young football team. We got a lot of sophomores and juniors. And and freshmen, watch kids pick each other up and fight through it. And they didn't quit even when when you knew you weren't going to win the football game, they kept going forward. And it's kind of helped us. The next week we played University and we're down 9-0 at halftime to a team. We felt like we should have been rolling up, and we just kept beating ourselves up. But they'd already been through that adversity, and then they responded. We came out in the second half and just did what we were supposed to do. So it was one of those things where, you always do learn more from losses, and we needed it. I don't want it. Merritt Island's always a tough opponent, but, it was a necessary thing for these kids to kind of grow up in the process.
We're here with Jeff Panucci, head football coach there at Melbourne High School. All right, Osceola this Friday night. What do you think of this matchup?
Man, I'm excited. This is what we play football for, competition. There's obviously the best team on our schedule that we're going to play to this point. They're state runner-ups last year, and it's the wing T. And as a defensive guy, it's always a pain in the neck to get a look at that. You can't really get a scout look. Nobody really runs the wing T. We don't run the wing. We don't even go under center. But they're a good football team, and my kids are excited. They want the challenge. This group of seniors has been through a lot. They're excited to have the opportunity to, go out there and compete against a team that, is a state finalist and state contender every single year. And it's going to tell, where are we? It's going to tell us where we're at as a program, where we're at as a team, and then this team is, it's not the same team we played last year. I watched the St. Cloud game. St. Cloud was, I think the final score, if you read it's 44-7, but it was 6-0 at halftime, and they didn't give up a single offensive touchdown to Osceola. So, there's ways to get out there and execute and try and, beat this football team. And that's fully the expectation is these kids want to go out there and compete and beat this team. So, they're excited. It's been a great week of, of preparation. And, we're going out there. We're ready for that test.
Well, you talk about the one loss, you had the 3 turnovers. Is that something you hammer to your team? Look, we cannot turn the ball over. It doesn't matter how good we play.
Yeah, I think I know all the coach, we all do. Every coach, if you coach football, you're hammering turnovers, big plays that can't happen. But they're going to happen, and, we have done a great job since not limiting the turnovers and creating our own turnovers. I mean, it's part of the game. And, if anything, it's about finding a way to respond to those turnovers when things do get tough. Like, and that's something that we grew up from the Merritt Island game, because in that university game, we fumbled at the 1 yard line. I think we might have been in, but, it doesn't matter. They said we fumbled. They got the football. We didn't score. And things could have gone the wrong way and kept going the wrong way, but we responded the right way. And, that's just part of the process.
You talk about your quarterback throwing for 300 yards. Do you just tell him in practice, yeah, do more of that? Yeah, let's go 300. I know it's like 300.
Listen, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But at the same time, just I'm a defensive minded guy. I love watching the ball. I stress when the ball's in the air. So many bad things can happen when the ball's in the air. But, it's a beautiful thing to watch, especially for a young quarterback, because you're watching him get better and better and better every week. I'm watching him grow up against us in practice every week, making throws, learning how to throw into that cover 3 hole, learning how to throw into the cover 2 window. He's learning every week. And, I'm really proud of his growth because, he went through a lot last year as well. And just to see him kind of get all this thrown on him as a sophomore, when, you're really not ready. This is his first varsity action. Every week he's getting better and better and better. And yes, it's a show. It's quite a thing to watch. It is pretty when it works out. Yes.
All right. Since you are a defensive guy, give some love to your defense. I know you're scoring points, but you guys are shutting people down. Talk about that side of the ball, Coach.
They probably tell you that I never give them any love because I'm always so angry or ready to, I got that defensive mindset. But this defense, so we have a young front, and most people that know anything about our front, our whole defensive line transferred or whatever. I got all sophomores and freshmen up front on the defensive line. And if you watch the Merritt Island game, I think we gave up 86 yards rushing on like 30 carries. They did a hell of a job. And every week they're getting better and better and better. I got a veteran linebacking core that has just done outstanding. Danny Negron, I think, has got 4 takeaways himself. And the secondaries really, we've had lapses. We had lapses in the Merritt Island game, but they've really held their own. But they're going to be tested this week, and they're excited for the challenge because the wing T, it'll grind you 3 yards a pop. They don't care. They're going to go for it on 4th down and 1, and they're just going to keep coming. And they don't care what you line up in. They're just going to keep running their stuff. So, they're prepared for the mental grind that is, the wing T. And, I'm interested to see how they respond.
Okay, before I let you go, and I know you're a busy man, you got a coach practice for your high school kids, your actual kids as well. You're running around. I know you're going to have a great crowd on Friday night, but why should the fans here in Melbourne come out and root for the Bulldogs in this game?
Come out. It's Melbourne football. It's one of the greatest shows. It's one of the greatest places to be on a Friday night. We try and get the kids involved as far as the school goes too. But, if you're a Melbourne Bulldog or you care about Melbourne football, it's a tradition like no other. And, we're obviously we're 4-1. We've changed a lot of things. Things are going well, and come out and support your hometown team. It's a great place to be in, and we always have a packed crowd pretty much no matter what. So it's always a good time in Melbourne.
That is awesome. By the way, tell your defense, I'll just say this as a joke. Show them the tape of the Dallas Cowboys and just go, don't do this on defense.
I ain't showing anybody no Dallas Cowboy anything. I'll tell you that much. I'm not watching that. No Cowboy stuff for me.
It's the worst defenses I've ever seen. Coach, thank you so much for coming on, and good luck with your team on Friday night. All right.
I appreciate you, Mark. Thank you very much, man.